He don't stand up for his friend, and I'm not gonna say that he's close or listen. That's an argument I don't want to enter. Even though Michael's more my generation,
Michael is
honestly,
the
I
fucking king. You niggas are fucking crazy if you think comparing Michael Jackson to fucking Chris Brown. I will slap the fucking black off of y'all.
like
Y'all gotta stop.
like I said,
Stop comparing them two. What's up, everybody? This is the Not For Sale podcast. I am your host, Bree, aka Do Say Bree. I am here. Obviously, yes, CJ's not here today. It is just a solo show, but I am fucking excited to have one of my amazing friends. He is the CEO and founder of Musixclusives and one of the most passionate people that I know when it comes to music and specifically R&B music. We have Leo.
what's up, y'all? How y'all feeling?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
This
I
is
feel
like-
like I
this
just
is-
seen you though.
This is like a long time in the making.
It is. This is very much so.
Thank you for having me, though.
Of course, anytime.
I feel like I have maybe rescheduled like twice.
You know you have.
Or has it been just once?
No, it's been twice.
Oh shit. I took a guess on that, but I guess I was right.
You were absolutely right. But it's okay. Like, you're here. You came. I'm happy that you're here. How is your weekend? Let's
My
start
weekend has
there.
been pretty calm and collective, if I may.
Have you done anything fun? Anything exciting?
This weekend in particular, no. I've been trying to save money because I'm traveling in 2 weeks, so I've just been keeping it really low.
I felt that. I felt that.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you traveling to?
I'm going to ATL for Labor Day weekend, so I'll be there for a couple of days.
Oh, that's cute.
You know what I'm saying? And I start back school, so, I need to just get that out of the way. Get
Wait,
that out of my
I didn't
system.
know you were in school.
Yeah, I was in school for the spring semester, and
What school are you going to? Can you tell us a little bit more?
I go to BMCC, which is downtown Manhattan, and I'm studying business management. And I'm continuing my education because I took a break for a long time.
I love this.
Yeah,
I love this.
really, my mother's been on my ass about it for eons, so I'm just kind of like,
Good. At least Mama
Appease her.
Bear still cares. And
does.
she's like, hey, take your ass to fucking school.
she's like, yeah, you're independent, you're doing your thing, but you still need an education.
Yes. Yeah. Stop
I
thinking that you
guess.
can surpass certain things.
Never been a school person though.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Are you?
I got
Oh,
my bachelor's.
Or did you just do it just because you wanted to get it out the way?
I think it's twofold. I think the first fold is I grew up in a Caribbean household, so there was no
Same.
option of not going to school and getting your education.
Unless you're rebellious like me.
Yeah, you and my co-host CJ, hella rebellious. But again, am I shocked? You're men. So, I'm fearful of my parents. You guys are not. So I will take that and understand that, like,
Got you.
it's not for me.
Gotcha.
But I did school. I graduated with a bachelor's from FIT.
You went to FIT?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. So you was in fashion at one point?
Well, okay, so in high school, I took, so my major was fashion design. Mm-hmm. So I did all the sketching and fabric and all that other stuff. I got to college and was like, yeah, I want to do advertising and marketing. I need to get to the bag. This fashion shit is cool. I can do it. Great. I'm a Gemini. I'm like, if we take our time with something or if we like hone on a skill, we can be really good at it. Pretty much anything.
That part.
But I was like, yeah,
think I'm
this
kinda the
fashion
same.
shit is cool, but nah, I need to get to the bag. So I ended up doing advertising and marketing with a minor in public relations in college.
And look at you.
Yeah, and I ended up.
In the PR world. Huh?
Yeah, it took a while though. It definitely took a while.
Was it a journey?
For sure. Getting a lot of doors slammed in your face. A lot of people not really understanding where you kind of see yourself going. Artists not believing in themselves. Like you can see there's so many artists that I grew up seeing underground and like now mainstream, and I was like, bro, like I could help you get like your whole like marketing in addition to like your public image setup, and so many people were just like, "Nah, I'm good," or didn't even respond back.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. As much as people like to think, artists don't want help.
Do you find yourself fighting to get artists to believe in themselves as part of your job?
Yes,
Okay.
because I feel like when it comes to press, a lot of artists are intimidated because they see how quickly their words can be spun into some negative shit, and they don't always want to be associated with the negative shit.
Right.
So,
Which is your job to make them, be looked in a positive
pretty,
light.
yes, or at least
Get it.
an understanding light. Like you may
Gotcha.
not be the most positive, but understanding where that person is coming from or understanding that side, perspective, whatever you want to call it.
Makes sense.
That's just what it is. But yeah,
Wow. Sounds like a lot of work.
it is.
A lot of crisis management.
It is. But you know what's so funny? Before starting, my dad, I had an aunt that did public relations, and she was bomb at it. Like, oh my God, like she was amazing at public relations. The fucking looks that she got were like Condé Nast, like Vogue, like she was like that bitch. So she died, obviously. And so when I was telling my dad about what I wanted to do career-wise, he was just like, yeah, that's what your aunt used to do. And I'm like, wait, what? And then I started doing a lot of like research on her artists and like the people that she represented. And it was like, wow, she did a lot.
Right.
So I'm glad I kind of what do you call it? Walked in her footsteps when it came to doing press. But it's all definitely a different time.
Right.
Completely different time than when she
Time and
did.
error.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes sense.
But let's get into these topics because this week has been insane. So Caresha Please returned.
Oh Lord.
Did you get the chance to watch it?
Of course I did.
And give me your thoughts. If you guys aren't aware, Caresha Please returned this past weekend. The very first episode, it was her and Saucy Santana talking about her relationship with Diddy, how all of that kind of panned out for her, and like just her like a mental check-in, like, hey, how are you doing? What's going on with you in your life? How are you post Diddy? I know he not over here checking out his goddamn
I was
self.
gonna go live, but I'm like, you know what? Let me not. Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Let me
Not
make sure
yet.
my responses
Not
together.
yet. I can't.
So
But yes.
no, I seen it. And obviously I've heard all the chit chatter and the responses and people's take on it. I'm kind of leaning with, and I just actually just seen. I think I just watched Joe Budden's response yesterday in regards to it. I seen Armand Wiggins' response to it, and I'm kind of leaning with them as well. I felt like she kind of tippy-toed around the whole conversation as it pertains to Puff. And obviously, this was Puff's platform. A lot of people are saying that he still has some kind of like, stake in it.
Do you believe that he does?
The Puff that I know, yeah, I think so. I feel like he's has some,
Nigga said the Puff I know.
I think he has some
Yeah, I
attachment to
think
it still.
so.
Even if he doesn't have an attachment to it, me think realistically, like he started the platform, so the obvious was for her to address the allegations because she was connected to Puff at one point. Now she's saying that they're not together, even though I'm hearing through like the grapevine that
They're still together.
They're still together behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? It's just not a public thing anymore. Or some kind of dealings. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't just.
I mean, we
completely
did
break away from
see
somebody.
her hugged up with him on the balcony somewhere. It could be in Miami or LA
Was this
or
recently?
wherever. I'm gonna say within the
How many
last
months?
2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months, and the allegations started spurring around that time, right? Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if you look at, I mean, even besides the allegations, the lawsuits that came forward, like in the Little Rod, like she was
Allegations,
she was,
yeah.
yeah, she was listed in
Yeah.
a lot of those things. So for her to say that, wow, that was not my experience with Puff, and Puff didn't abuse me, and and meanwhile, you're a victim of DV on
Yep.
2 different fronts, right?
Yeah.
And you just kind of like literally bypassed, Cassie's claims, didn't say no sorry, no, well, I apologize That wasn't my experience, but I apologize to the victims that have come forward. It's kind of like a slap in the face.
It is.
You know, especially for someone who's been through DV, you know?
For sure.
So I don't respect it. And that's the reason why we're getting what we're getting now. That's why JT is up right now. You know what I'm saying? Because she stayed 10 toes. Granted, you held JT down when she was gone, but she comes out, and I don't want to throw the whole jealousy thing out there.
Do you think there is?
I kind of want to say so, but then I don't want to say so because it's like she got Diddy, so technically she was a one-up on JT, right? But now JT's actually doing her big one on the music front, which I think this is where, you know, Miami suffers. Musically, she's not the greatest rapper. Everybody knows that JT was that girl, right? So maybe she might have some kind of disdain.
Yeah, but she was able
to
hold it down for a minute while JT was locked up. So what happened to all the writers and everybody that was working behind her?
Well, I mean, they're not going to be behind her now. I mean, especially after all of this. You know, and just her attitude too. Like I've heard Armand said that she has a nasty attitude. And you know what? I can't refute those claims because I'm not saying that I've been in close proximity of the City Girls, even after JT had came out, and before JT came out, they had some kind of like a party here years ago. This is about JT was locked up early on when City Girls first came out, and I've always gotten this
stank attitude,
and it could have been from the both of them, but I felt like it was more coming from Miami. I think at one point she just started to, as the fame rose, she started to feel herself.
I can definitely see where that come. Yeah.
So and then let's not forget about the things that you were saying and spewing on Twitter. You know,
I was just about to go into that. You remember what she said to Gina, right?
I'm gonna let you take that part. Yeah.
You remember what she said to Gina, right? We don't gotta repeat that shit.
Yeah.
We don't have to repeat that shit. Go look
Pull
up
the
yourselves.
receipts. Yeah.
but you remember what she said to Gina, right? So all of the sexual assault shit isn't a shocking.
So that's
thing
why
around
people
her.
are not coming to your rescue, because you were kicking people while they were down. And now you get up on this platform and you want to cry these
boohoo tears.
We're not believing it. We're not buying it.
No.
We don't buy it. No. And then, you know, also, Saucy Santana, of all people, to sit on a couch with to interview, that's your friend. You think people are going to buy into that? He's on your side.
Negro, we're friends and you're sitting down on my couch and we're about to have a whole like interview conversation.
Yeah, but we're not going through a crisis management situation.
You all right.
Right? Me and you're not going through, even though we went through something recently, but it wasn't public. It was not a public, it wasn't a public thing. You know what I'm saying? She's dealing with a whole public matter, a serious matter at that.
Yeah.
And then to sit with
your friend.
Someone jokingly said Diane Sawyer. I mean, not Diane Sawyer, but a Gayle King. I don't know if it's Gayle King necessarily.
All the girlies go to Gayle, so wouldn't be as shocking.
That's a new day, Diane Sawyer.
Diane Sawyer. These young kids don't know nothing about Diane Sawyer.
They have no idea. Nope. That's our generation.
Yes.
Gayle King is the new Diane Sawyer of this generation.
Yes.
But no, back to the point. I don't feel bad for her, and some people have even went as far as to say, well, I don't know how this is gonna fare because are they gonna continue letting her go on with this podcast after this
episode?
After this episode, I mean, it got so many views, but still.
But that's what they care about. If you're the network, if you're Revolt, you care about that. You work in media. If you're the owner of the brand, or if you're the partners or chairman of the brand, you gonna let that shit rock.
Well, guess what? And they went in it thinking that, right? Because everybody's only tuning into Revolt because everybody was crying for Caresha Please to come back. So obviously they knew that it was going to do numbers.
Why were people crying about it? Was it they were crying about it because they wanted Caresha Please, or they wanted her to come out and talk about this bullshit that's been in the headlines for
a little bit of
months now?
Two things can be true, right?
And it might be more than that, but
right. Two things can be true. I think it's a little bit
of both.
Both. So Caresha Please was a thing before the allegations, right? And then they went off air for whatever reason.
Because of the allegations, we know why.
Well, wasn't it even way before then? Maybe. Because
It might have been.
sometimes too a season kind of like needs to take a break.
Yeah.
Because remember when they had what was that show that was popular before that? Justin, what's his LeBoy?
Oh yes, just yeah.
It was. You
Justin
go through your
LeBoy's show.
seasons where there's like a 10 season and you go on a break on a hiatus or whatever, you come back. So I felt like that's what was happening with Caresha Please. But people loved the show. Even before any allegations, people loved it. Because now it was a time to see Caresha in a light outside of music, because we already know she kind of like struggles in that area. She found a space that worked for her. So people liked it. What made it even more interesting is the fact that the allegations did come out, and now she was able to use it in two different ways. Address the allegations, and Caresha Please is back on. So either way was going to be a win-win for Revolt from a business standpoint. You know what I'm saying? For her, it didn't do any damage control for her.
Her specifically, or her brand?
Her brand, it didn't do anything for her brand. It didn't help her. If anything, it hurt her. And that's the response I've been getting from like fellow podcasters. It's like, it's not believable. And then we didn't even get to the JT part. Let's get back to the City Girls. The way she responded to that, because even Joe was like, yo, JT just came on the show. She was so gracious. She was so pleasant. She had nothing bad to say about this girl. Everything was positive energy, right? And maybe that's a PR thing. I don't know.
If I was a publicist,
it's working in her favor.
If I was her publicist, I'd tell her, shut your fucking mouth. Don't say shit. I don't care if you have an issue with her.
You know what? It's not even that.
Do not bring that to the public.
But you know what? Also, Bree,
this is about you and your album, and we are focused on you. Do not focus on that bullshit, because that's not going to get us anywhere.
But guess what? You're right. To your point. You got a new project coming out. You in a new space. You reintroducing the world to you.
You in fashion shit. Like, why are you worried about this bitch?
You don't need nothing. Nothing negative. Caresha. Yeah, nothing negative, Jatavia. Like all positive. Because when you spew positivity, people receive that well, and that's why she's getting the blessings that she's getting right now, right? Let Young Miami live in that hurt, that fear. Like, you don't want to come to your homegirl's rescue because you didn't get the call for a super freaky girl. That's just too much. That's just TMI. You don't ever say anything. You girls need to stop being so comfortable with coming for the queen, okay? And naming her. Don't mention her. Don't say anything. Don't mention legends and icons. Don't throw them in conversations. I don't care how. So
what do you suspect that they do when the question is brought up?
Well, that question did not come up.
No. But that question is always going to come up. Realistically, they're working in hip hop. Come on, let's be fucking for real.
Yeah, but she voluntarily shared that information that we didn't need to know about, right?
This is true.
Like, JT would have never came out and said, "Oh yeah, so Nikki reached out to me, but why you didn't include my homegirl?" No, it's just like I was left on bad and bougie.
But she definitely did say that shit. I was shocked.
And you said
that shit?
You were Joe Budden say exact response.
You said that shit out loud? Like, you didn't bother to just keep that to yourself and just say, you
just gave us information that we didn't ask for.
I'm going to take that to the chin. I clearly am not enough in my field to play around for Nikki to even entertain this conversation. But we said from the beginning, like you said in the very beginning, JT was the stronger rapper.
But everybody knew that, though.
And even she knew that. So
she knew
for
that.
her to have that.
They said Miami was never really interested in music. It was JT that kind of convinced them.
Yeah, and it was
it shows.
Also getting locked up that fucked that shit up, because she then had to be the musical person when she initially didn't want to do that shit. I'm just here for the glitz and glamour.
Right, exactly.
So I'm not mad at it.
Hence the reason why she got her one up with Diddy, because she knew that she was not trying to be in the music space.
And I get it. Like, I totally understand. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of criticism. It's a lot of people and opinions, and I get it. But this is what you fucking sign up for. You could have went and been the CEO of fucking Victoria's Secret.
Exactly.
You could have did that. Like,
exactly.
You're smart enough to get there.
You know what's so crazy though? I remember rumblings early on saying, like, don't let nothing get in between you guys. Don't let nothing.
We said that.
I remember those conversations.
Yes, we did.
And look at where we are now.
Look at where we are today.
I'm like, wow. And it happened.
But did it
'Cause
really
they were
come in between them?
It's not like two girls who were put together.
Yes,
These are
but
two girls who actually grew
did
up.
the music come between them, or did their own personalities come in between them?
It definitely was their personalities, because they want to blame it on, oh yeah, we weren't selling anyway. No,
No, bitch,
there were people in your ears.
Yes.
You were Diddy.
Tell the truth.
So how would
Okay.
and then did you? I don't. Someone said the other day how Diddy wasn't the nicest to JT. Now these are things that happened behind the scenes that we never heard about until now. We're hearing about these whispers, right? But they said that he wasn't the nicest. Now is she gonna speak on it? Obviously not, because she's playing the game, right? She's not gonna talk about that. But that's what I heard. I just heard this, so I don't know.
Am I shocked? Not really, but it's also
either.
like, why? So
I mean, I don't.
Why
see the
did you
reason
put
why
up that whole fucking show? Like, you don't have nothing to say. You do have something to
right.
say.
But then other people's argument is like, well, Little Uzi and Caresha didn't have the best relationship either, and that was loud, and that was pretty loud.
Yeah, that was pretty loud. You saw the lives and her and him going back and forth, and JT's just shutting up and just not saying nothing.
Right.
Which, again, if I'm JT, I'm shutting the fuck up too, because I'm not saying anything.
Right.
This is a stupid conversation. Like,
Right.
y'all want to have the stupid conversation? Y'all want to go back and forth so the public can have their own? Go ahead. Keep me out of it, though. I don't want no.
But it's crazy that she would say that I didn't get the call, because a lot of people were saying, and keep in mind, I didn't really follow a lot of the chit chatter, the back and forth, the spats on social media, but a lot of people said that JT did come to Miami's defense in a lot of situations. So it's crazy that she was going through that whole thing with Cardi when JT and Cardi was exchanging.
Yeah, and then she woke up talking about some damn.
I just
woke up, girl. Bye.
But
Ain't
because
nobody
you
trying
felt
to
some
hear
kind of
you.
way with Lee being left off a record, you're not going to defend your homegirl that you've known
No,
since you were young?
exactly. No, I'm not gonna defend
That's
her.
that's your argument?
Yes.
Oh, you're in agreement with her.
No,
Oh.
hell fucking no. But I'm explaining you the madness, the thought process behind that. Yeah, like hell yeah, like she left me off. Fuck that bitch. Like, I love her, that's my sister, but fuck her. Like, she ain't hit me up, she ain't say nothing, not a cat, not a dog, not a nothing. And you get on a song with Nicki fucking Minaj, bitch. As much as you've known that I'm a Nicki stan,
Who you think Caresha is?
I think most of these bitches behind closed doors are.
I mean, they are. And Nicki did
I'm
make up with
sorry.
the both of them, but I
I
felt
love
like
all
Nicki,
y'all, but I definitely do think all of
but
y'all are
Nicki
Nicki
knew who
stans
she was
behind
gonna
closed doors.
gravitate towards more, and it was clear, it was evident, right? She felt like JT
Did
was the
she?
rapper.
We all
There was no
said that,
shade.
though.
But I don't think Miami, just be happy that Nicki took y'all back, because y'all was in a very weird space with Nicki at one point, because y'all was on the other side. Y'all was Cardi.
Yeah, I was on the Cardi bandwagon.
Yeah, I was on Cardi bandwagon. There was an association there, Cardi and Offset and the whole QC. So by default, you have to be on that side of the baton. You know what I'm saying? But when Nicki embraced y'all again, just take it as what it is. Everybody's who's cool with Nicki don't gotta have a feature. And not just because you're in the city, girls, you're automatically gonna have a feature. How many features did you do when JT was locked up? You was on everything, girl.
Yeah.
And you was still not the rapper, but you was still on a lot of
You
features.
was still on everything. Though.
Let JT have her moment. You know what I'm saying? She might be more of a. I don't really see Caresha. I never really seen Caresha like overly praise Nicki like that either. So just be happy that she even followed you and embraced you again. Let JT have her moment. Maybe she's more of a fan or more of like a sisterhood with Nicki.
Yeah, and I would, if I was Caresha, I would definitely do. Yeah,
they're two.
I would just let them be in their own in their little bump.
That doesn't mean that you don't come to your girl's defense though. You still know her. You don't know Nicki. You still know her.
Yes, that part.
Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, Tyrese.
Oh Lord.
So Tyrese did the national anthem, looking like Marvin fucking Gaye.
What was that about? Because I saw the interview that he just did. The screening he did in New York, and he didn't look nothing like that.
So apparently, there's a movie coming out called 1999.
1992.
Whatever the fucking movie is. The nigga looked like Marvin Gaye. I thought he was like cosplaying. You remember Old Boy from years ago that was like dressed up like Tupac, aiming for like a role that he plays Tupac? Maybe he's doing that shit.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he's doing that shit. But anyway, he sung the national anthem. He looked like a hot ass mess, but apparently it was Marvin Gaye inspired with the beard and the hair and the beanie. I just think it's too much. But Tyrese has been on a tyrant in the media as of lately. Between his response to his friends saying Trey Songz has more hits than him, it's been insane for Tyrese as of lately.
So here's my thing, and we were talking about this before we started rolling. Tyrese is what we would consider a legend. You know what I'm saying? In the game.
Yeah, R&B legend.
He has the stats. Now, my argument is this. Are the stats based more on where he's at in the movie world as an actor or more so in the music world? My take on it is because Tyrese is my era. I think Tyrese is a bigger movie superstar than he is a music star. Now, listen, hear me out though. Tyrese has records. Now, and I'm making sure I choose my words correctly because I don't know if Tyrese has enough records to go on a tour. Someone may argue me that. I don't know.
Well, according to Tyrese, whenever they do a show or tours or whatever the bill is set up, Trey's always opening for him.
So that's what he said, right?
That's what the man said.
That this is an argument that can easily be had because hear me out. Tyrese been around since I want to say 96-ish. She came around with Sweet Lady and all that. Whoop-de-doo, big hit. And he fared on a little bit thereafter as an artist, right? Before he went into the movie space. But when we're talking about like R&B superstars and giants, I'm not saying that Trey Songz is necessarily a giant over Tyrese. But I will say this, Trey Songz has a lot of way more notable hits, right?
For sure.
Trey Songz is more consistently, not in the recent years, as an artist has been consistent.
Because, he's been McNasty over these past couple years.
Allegedly. So. Allegedly, right? So
it's too many bitches coming out saying the same thing for us to still say allegedly.
But the funny thing is, I don't really, when I think of Trey Songz and Tyrese, I can't even see them in the same conversation. So I don't even know how whoever phrased that question, I don't know how they got to that point. I don't even put them in the same bracket. You know what I'm saying? Like they
just don't fit.
Well, the thing is, they're not two completely different artists because they both don't dance. So they're one and the same in that space.
Yes.
They're not far apart from each other. Like I'm just saying, like trajectory wise, like history wise, they're not in the same plateau. They're not in the same conversations.
Leo, I know you was looking like, how the fuck did y'all even get to this?
I would put like Trey in the conversations of the Marios, Chris, if you will.
I would never put that nigga in the same booth as Chris. What?
Well,
no.
Chris is in a whole different stratosphere because he's
on a whole nother
planet. He's in his own lane because Chris is Chris, right? But I'm talking about
Mario,
era-wise.
You could say like, who else could you say? Maybe Miguel, maybe?
Miguel came a little bit after. I think Miguel is more like early 2010s. But, okay, cool. Fair, even that's fair enough. Tyrese. Once you go into the movie world, that becomes the focus.
Which is what I was saying. So previously, I was just saying that last week, not to dwell too much on it. Method Man basically said that he is no longer performing at, I think it was like Summer Jam or something
because
like that,
because
of the age gap. But I feel like it's not the age gap thing, it's the relevancy thing. When's the last time that you actually dropped a song that the youth would actually give a fuck about?
I mean, that's another thing. That's another argument. But you got people like LL Cool J. I think LL is about to drop again. Are we going to say the same thing about LL?
No, because he's actually dropping music. When the last time Method Man dropped a song?
I would have to check, though.
Go ahead. Check. You got your phone.
It probably is not that. Let me see.
A song that we give a fuck about, that the youth would actually care about. Like, it's not just any song. That's where it gets a little sticky because it's also like, even the artists that we grew up on still took advantage of the younger demographic. Look at Kanye and what he does to every fucking young artist. Look at Drake.
He's put out stuff in recent years.
That we give a fuck about. And you telling me 2 years. When was he on Power? I'm confused. When did he start Power?
That I wouldn't know. I don't really follow TV as much. But I mean, in his argument, okay, you said LL, right? But LL is in the same. Okay, he just dropped that song with Sweetie, but that just dropped though. And prior to that, it was nothing since 2007. So let's be fair. Let's just say that LL is just a bigger talent, but let's not say LL has been more relevant on a music front.
I don't think he's been more relevant on music front. No,
he hasn't. He hasn't. It's just that LL. It's LL Cool J. He's also another movie star. I mean, a bigger movie star than Method Man, but.
Okay, so I'm seeing things going back as far as 2020. So that's 4 years.
2020 for who?
For Method Man being on Power. So 2020.
Are you talking about from his acting, in his acting space? Okay.
So from 2020 to 2024, what you dropped relevant that these young niggas are going to care about?
Yeah, I don't think musically, neither one of them have been relevant musically. Have they been actively keeping themselves in the spotlight? Yeah, but not for music.
Not for music. And that's where it falls short every single time. So you can't expect the.
Because, I mean, listen, LL can drop something too. Like, he just dropped something with Sweetie. And to me, you got Sweetie on a record. You're screaming.
He's
trying.
He's trying.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's going to fair.
No, it don't have to hit. Mm-hmm. It don't have to hit. Make the actual effort, though. Because once you make the actual effort, you don't think people are going to be like, bro, I think you should hit up LL. Like, that name becomes relevant again. Like, hey, maybe we should actually, like, work together. Maybe we should find some, like, marketing or find a song to work together on or an activation or whatever the case may be.
I have a better question. And this might be a little tricky one for you, depending if you schooled and have your knowledge, you've been keeping up over the course of 2 decades, like, in terms of relevancy. And I know in my mind who I have in mind. Who, artist-wise, R&B or hip-hop, do you feel like has never really fallen off?
Trey. I mean, not Trey. Chris.
No. I'm saying more. I'm like, let me go back as for saying on the span
That's
of
2 decades, right there.
3 decades.
Ooh. 3 decades.
That might be hard for you because 3 decades I can count because that's more my era.
Nigga,
I know
I'm
off the top.
30, nigga. The fuck?
But I'm saying I'm a whole 10 years older, so I can throw a name out. One of my favorite singers who's still relevant today, who just dropped the record too. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Mary. I don't know anyone. I can't even say Tony.
Boy, bye. Okay.
I want to throw.
Go ahead. If you want to say Mary, go ahead.
Mary has stayed relevant though. It's not giving.
Why is Mary relevant? Because it's not for the music. So stop the bullshit.
But Mary's been consistent.
That's not what musically. But again, that's not the topic. The topic is relevancy through music. Mary has not been relevant through music in a very long time. Her relevancy comes in.
That's not true. Look up Mary's Spotify. Look at the last time she dropped music.
I didn't ask about the last time she dropped music. I said relevancy, just like I said before with LL and
someone who's actually stepped into the acting layer and still been completely abandoned music. These guys are struggling musically to put out music to stay relevant. She never missed.
She's a singer. They're rappers, so that looks already different.
That's more to the part of why hip hop, because hip hop is a more relevant genre than R&B. R&B is a struggle.
That I don't agree with that. I think based off of this very scenario here shows you R&B lasts way fucking longer than fucking rap.
You're right. Actually,
as you
said that, I thought about it and I was like, because hip hop does have age attached to it. Yeah, because after a certain age. But then Missy hasn't dropped music, even though she's on tour right now.
She's on tour.
The tour is doing good. It could have easily been a flop.
It's great. But again, good. I would never think a Missy Elliott tour is gonna flop. Why? Because
but you know what? You have a point though. She hasn't done a tour, and honestly, she hasn't put out music. So, and the music that she has put out hasn't really always fared. So maybe you're right. In the hip hop space, sometimes people don't.
Shit looks a little different in the hip hop space,
especially after you hitting the 50 mark. You're over 50 years old.
I don't know anyone. Different.
Only Jay probably could do it. And he's not even.
I will literally say only Jay.
Only Jay probably could do that. And
maybe only Jay.
I think someone.
Would you call Ree? But Ree is like in her. No, I wouldn't say Ree. Ree's probably 2 decades. Yeah, She's probably 2 decades, not 3.
She's still in the Trey Songz that era, like that.
Got it. So it's 2 decades. Okay,
It's 2
she got
decades.
another decade. Speaking of decades, Jon
Mariah Carey
B.
could be that, but I don't think Mariah hasn't been dropping anything late. Well, no, she steals her Christmas stuff every time.
Christmas stuff, but that's not new. That's repackaged shit. Speaking of, Jon B says Chloe and Halle's remake was trash. So I know you saw that interview.
I saw the clip, right? And then
How did you feel about the clip when you first saw the clip? When it came across your phone, tell me what your immediate thoughts were.
You know, honestly, I don't really have no thoughts on it. I didn't really have any initial thoughts on it. I still really haven't formulated an opinion.
Do you think he has some legs to stand on?
Well.
Do you think he's lying?
No, when I heard the record,
not lying.
When I heard the record, I wasn't impressed. So I'm not mad at what he said.
Facts.
Because a lot of times when people hear the legend speak up, it's like, oh, they're being haters. They're old and they don't.
And I hate it. I hate it so much. Defense too. Oh my God, I hate when they say that stupid shit.
Because I don't know if you saw the conversation about him versus Justin Timberlake.
Oh yes, I did.
And they were like, but he had a point though.
That's because Jon is a fucking thug. Jon said Justin took his whole. Justin wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for him. That's OD, Jon.
Well, that too. I mean, he has a point. He paved the way for the white boy singers, right?
OD, Jon. You're not supposed to say that shit.
And then he called his song demonic, which it was.
Sure did. Well, okay.
But that's what people like nowadays. People just into the devilish shit. I don't know.
Do you think it was demonic, or do you think that it was just the video was demonic? Because I like the song. I just think the video was demonic. I did have to agree with him on that.
But most people are going to say that. You know what I'm saying? That's just how music is nowadays. That's just how it's a different era. It's just a different era. I don't think he was being a hater. Because there were a lot of people that I did see coming to Jon B's defense, because there's still people who feel like Jon B still has a chance, and he's
still has a chance for what?
I mean, there are people who feel like, Jon hasn't really aged much.
Chance for what?
It's not like he's out here.
Answer the question. Has a chance for what, nigga?
Musically, like, he still has this, he has a right to say what he said. Because if he was a trash artist, then people would be like, fuck this nigga.
Has a chance for what? I'm not moving the goalpost. Has a chance for what? To be platinum and make more music today and be more relevant?
There's a lot of artists from the 90s who are still touring and successfully touring. They don't have to.
That's why I asked you to answer the end of the sentence there. That's why I asked, because I want to know. Well, what is it?
The point I'm making is, I think that Jon B, he's A-okay in my book.
I love Jon B. Don't get me wrong. But again, answer the end of the question. Has a chance for what?
If he puts out a good project, it's not going
to be back in
it's not going to be top. It's not going to be top 10. We know that.
We don't know that.
We just had a conversation
about
that.
I'm not joking that. He might have
unless
a
you're
chance.
Charlie Wilson, then you.
But even Charlie got on top 10. So,
but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
If he did a Charlie,
if you're not Charlie Wilson, who stayed relevant for like 3-4 decades,
no, it don't gotta be him being Charlie. If he did a Charlie, hopped on a young person track, do you think that's what I'm saying? Okay. Like, stop just thinking that you could just stay in your old nigga bag and call it a day. No, like, how you stay relevant is music. It's taking advantage of the younger demographic.
I agree.
Yo, Drake showed y'all that for over 2 decades. Why y'all still don't get it? I'm confused.
You're right.
Like,
You're completely confused. Right. Because no matter how hot the project is, if it doesn't have anything that's going to resonate with this generation,
the younger generation,
it's not going to hit.
It's clipped. You're wasting your time.
No one is taking away from Jon B. We know he could probably very much well sing the same, but if it's not connecting,
it's a waste.
We're going to appreciate it, but they're not.
It's a waste.
So, but no, I don't think people should take the comments too seriously. I mean, he said what he said, and
he said what the fuck he said. Yeah, you're gonna be mad at him.
Yeah, it was nothing to really drag out.
It's not that deep.
He said his piece and we just moved on.
Yeah, like it's not that deep. He has every.
I mean, we see what Justin's been going through recently too, so he's not off the radar either. Like Justin got some stuff in his closet.
You hear Justin is the reason why we don't have an NSYNC reunion, right?
Oh, that's what they said?
That's what the people said.
Oh, because of the recent situations?
Well, he's supposed to be going on tour himself. He's supposed to be doing his own world tour.
Is he supposed to be bringing them out? That was
No,
the plan?
that was not the plan.
Oh, okay.
He was doing his own world tour, but they, prior to this world tour, were talking about an NSYNC
album?
reunion.
Okay.
And so Justin never gave them an answer on it. So Justin is being, what do you call it? He's being Diana Ross right now. He's being very Diana Ross right now. He's being very, what's the character from the Fighting Temptations? Otis. He's being very Otis right now.
Nobody's trying to see you, Otis.
Yes, he's being very Otis right now. And, he just got to get his life together. Because Justin,
He got a lot going on.
nigga, them last 2 albums was basura.
Oh,
You better get it the fuck together. Take your ass back on tour with NSYNC and go do the little dance. Give us Justify. Give us Future Sex Love Sound and get your ass off that fucking stage.
Please go back to that.
We don't have time for this.
And no more drinking and driving.
No.
Thanks.
Wait.
I didn't say it. Moving along.
Moving along. Tank says Chris Brown is better than Michael Jackson.
Woo. Now that's a conversation that everybody was up in arms about.
Yeah. So.
So here's my thing with that. What are you laughing like I'm about to say something crazy?
I know you.
What am I gonna say? So obviously Tank is gonna side with Chris. They're collaborators, right? Long-time collaborators
little
like that, right?
bro. That is his little brother.
That's his little brother.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? He loves him. And I love that for Tank. You know what I'm saying? Because Chris needs those people.
Tank is sniffing coke, bro.
No. Stop. Let me slow down. Let's slow down. Chris needs allies. No, he's been through a lot. He needs allies. So I love that
Chris
brother connection.
always has allies. What the fuck? I don't understand.
The only people that are Chris's allies are people who like Tank, who are people he works with, that he's in the studio with, people that he collaborates with.
Do
and
you
people
really
that
think Chris Brown really loves
outside of his fans, because he has a large fan base, and because they're real ones, they fuck with him and they look past all of that. All right? No, hold on, don't raise your hand. Oh,
I'm the fan that looks past everything.
Okay, good. We me and you. That's why we connect, because we always on the same page. Even though you trying to come back like you trying to be combative with me sometimes. Usually,
wow. Very spicy.
Even though me and Geminis normally do debate, but it's
We
always
do.
It's always
good.
healthy
It's
debates.
healthy
though.
and it's
good.
positive.
It's usually good debate. It's never
Yes.
argumentative. So back to the
And
point.
it's never rude and disrespectful.
It's never rude and
either.
disrespectful. It's always actually
Yes.
very, very
Yes.
intelligent debates. So back to that point. So he's gonna take for Chris. You know what I'm saying? I think he said that. You know what? I think he really did that to really ruffle some feathers, because he knew how people were going to react to that. And for whatever reason, maybe Tank needs a little bit of a PR stunt.
He a comedian, right?
I love Tank. We love Tank over here. But now that's his friend, so rightfully so. And
Don't stand up for
honestly,
his friend. I get it.
he don't stand up for his friend. And I'm not gonna say that he's close or listen. That's an argument I don't want to enter. Even though Michael's more my generation,
Michael
honestly,
is the fucking king. You niggas are fucking crazy if you think comparing Michael Jackson to fucking Chris Brown. I will slap the fucking black off of y'all. Y'all gotta stop.
Like I said,
stop comparing them two.
Even though Michael is more my generation or the generation a little bit before me, and I didn't really necessarily get into Michael as a whole, artist-wise. Although I used to come home to Video Music Box. I was actually about the other day. I used to come home to Video Music Box. Shout out to Ralph McDaniels and Ray DeJean and catch. Do you remember? That was my video. Yeah. All right. Shout out to Quincy Jones. I forgot who the other producers on that song. It might have been Teddy. I think Teddy probably did that one too. That video was, but outside of that, I didn't really get into Michael's catalog like that. But hold on, hear me out.
Because you knew.
But hear me out.
You just now.
You can't dispute what Michael's done. Michael touch. When people say that Michael's like the second most famous person to Jesus, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Like, people will probably cut your throat if you say something bad about Michael shit.
I will cut your throat.
I get why people were up in arms about that whole conversation. But hear me out though. People are only doing this to Chris because of his past, right? And he's definitely put the work in, because because what Tank was saying that he's a better singer, better writer. People forget that. Listen, Michael was not Whitney, and then no shit to Whitney. Whitney's my Leo sister. Like Whitney was great. She was a vocalist because a lot of the vocalists outside of the Mariah Careys who actually wrote their stuff did not always write their stuff and produce their stuff. Michael actually did do a lot of the producing and writing, even though a lot of it was co-production also. So to say that Chris is a better, like Michael didn't do other things than just dance and sing is kind of disrespectful. And especially for someone of Tank's age. That's why I said he did that to Troll. I feel like he was doing that to Troll. He knows that Michael Jackson's trajectory includes the fact that he was a fucking triple threat or quadruple threat, if you will. So to say that, oh, Chris is this and that, better than this and better than that, is like, come on, bro. That's your boy. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But put some respect on MJ's name. You know what I'm saying? Forever the king of pop.
I thoroughly fucking agree with you.
And this is coming from someone who didn't really have Michael in the playlist like that.
Oh, I do. Let me tell you, as a Michael Jackson stan who listened to everything Michael front to back, my dad, growing up in a house, it was Michael Jackson.
I totally get it.
DMX. Biggie Smalls,
Biggie is
Busta Rhymes.
I got a big Biggie painting in my damn living room.
Biggie Smalls, Busta Rhymes. What do you call it? Meatloaf.
Oh, okay.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Your parents had you up on game.
Yes.
They was not playing with you.
And the mere fact that these people on the internet are trying to argue about the fact that Chris Brown.
But get this, guys. Chris is amazing. Chris is definitely goated. And Chris is definitely going down.
But you want to know what? I'm glad Chris responded to that shit.
And I liked his response.
I'm very glad that he responded to that.
Thank you, Christopher Maurice Brown, for your response, and you were very tasteful and respectful. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? How do you take that?
That's cap.
but how do you take that? You just say like.
I mean, I stayed the hell up out of it.
Right.
Good job, Chris.
Like I kind of back off it. Like my personal take on it is like I wouldn't even be breathing or even being able to sing a song if that man didn't exist.
Facts.
So,
that part.
I don't know if they look at it as the Jordan Kobe thing, but I can't even look at it. He's light years away. Like you get what I'm saying? Like there is no competing with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Is it crazy?
No, hell no. I got shrines and this shit in here of this man hanging up in my house. Hell no. I ain't
Is
better
it
than
crazy, man, that you looked at MJ growing up? And not that people will compare or better than.
Yeah, I don't care about the rest of what he's saying. Mm-hmm. But
Big Boy was just trying to egg it on, right?
He was just trying to egg it on. Right? And he said what the fuck he said. You guys are sniffing coke. Leave him alone.
No, Chris's response was definitely dope. And I'm glad that he actually responded because he could have left it.
I am too. But I did see a tweet that said, so the original tweet says, Tank says Chris Brown is a better singer, writer, producer, and dancer than Michael Jackson. Somebody subtweeted it and said, Bruno Mars is a better singer, writer, producer, and performer than Chris Brown. Yeah, okay. What are your thoughts?
I didn't see that, but first of all, Bruno Mars is not even consistent. So how are we even throwing him in the conversation? Who the hell is Bruno Mars?
I love Bruno, but
I like Bruno too.
He's not consistent in the field enough to be a part of this conversation. For sure.
See, that chat didn't even cross my table. Because I'm like, what? When did Bruno Mars enter the chat?
I'm like, when did he get here? We were not talking about him at all.
At all.
So what else do we want to get into? Oh, yeah. So very big music industry shakeup. Roc Nation label merges with ED, which is Equity Distribution, to form Roc Nation Distribution. A part of this merger, Sherry Bryant is stepping down from her role. Sherry Bryant has been a part of Roc Nation since fucking God knows how many decades, since Rockefeller days. Dame Dash is the one that fucking hired her. So now that she's gone, it's just like another insane what the fuck moment outside of the Julie Greenwald news that flew past us maybe like 2 weeks ago about her stepping down from her role at Atlantic. So
shout out to Warner.
Yeah, I'm just shocked of all of these like heavyweight industry people leaving the industry. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect for this to happen. Especially this quickly, I didn't expect for it to happen. Outside of the fact of like, damn, they've been in that shit for 2, 3, 4 decades and getting clipped. That's crazy.
Well, welcome to the music industry, y'all. where everybody get laid off after 6 months.
Wow. Not 6 months. You ain't shit.
It's the truth.
You
want me to sit up
shit.
here on this podcast and lie?
I don't think it's 6 months.
That's what someone said the other day.
It's not 6 months. I think that's
Okay, a
good
year.
stretch. Maybe 3 years. How about that? How about we'll go for that?
The music industry is the only corporation that I've seen where nothing is stable.
No. Well, you don't think that's entertainment overall?
The music industry in particular takes the cake. For sure. Without an argument, without a doubt. You can have a relationship at a label. Before you know it, in the blink of an eye, that person either jump ship to another label or working independently or change their whole trajectory in terms of like what they do, what their occupation is now. It's just like it's always so many moving pieces in the music industry, so people are never stable. You know? I mean, it's a relationship-based industry, but sometimes even those relationships they change. But either way is good because you never know where that person could like get promoted to, and maybe move in a space, but you actually needed a relationship in. So, but it's just not. It's never secure.
No.
Yeah, that's why people like always second guess like if they should get in this industry or not, because
They should second guess, motherfucker. They should, actually.
so many moving parts. It's just like the money's always funny.
Speaking of money funny,
The money's not always funny.
I'm sure you saw Michael Rubin's interview on Breakfast Club.
Well, yeah, I saw the clips.
What's your thoughts? Got any?
I agree with what everyone's been saying. You don't know black culture. You know, you've gotten too comfortable because all your celebrity friends are black. You know, but how dare you to get up on a platform and talk about black on black crime? That's not like. When will white people or Caucasian people, for that matter, stop being so comfortable to tell us about our issues?
Well, I think it's twofold to that. I think, well, the thing that he failed to address is that this type of shit happens in every fucking community. Like, folks be too quick
and I've heard
to
those
label,
arguments too.
Yeah, folks be too quick to label or consider something as negative being a black issue, and it's not. Like, this reminds me of the misconception that like black on black crime depends on this reminds me of the misconception of black on black crime, but they don't really understand or have the technical knowledge to understand that it really depends on where you're looking at these statistics and the violence.
Right.
Because white people are more likely harm white people, black on black, Mexican on Mexican, like it's based on environment, circumstance, or atmosphere and access. For some reason, y'all niggas can't stop putting or paying attention to us as black people and highlighting our shit, cause y'all love to fulfill the fucking stereotypes that are pushed out in the fucking media of black people. Like, the issues being discussed around Meek are people's opinions based off of his character and things that he's already said. So you can't get mad at people not liking what the fuck he's saying. People don't agree with that shit. It is what it is. Move the fuck on. Like, everybody don't have to agree with every fucking thing that he does or everything that he says. There's a lot of shit that Meek says that I even had to be like, Meek, what the fuck are you talking about,
Trust
bro?
me, you're not the only one.
What are you talking about? So just because there's a certain amount of people that don't fuck with Meek because of a lot of things he's either said or done that reflect on his character, this isn't a black culture, black on black issue. Like, that nigga's just fucking questionable as an individual. He's just questionable. So I respect the fact that he got up there trying to protect his friend. I get it, but be fucking for real. Like, even during that interview, he said, what did he say? If he was gay, there's not a gay bone in his body, but if he was,
Who cares?
who cares?
We're living in a new society.
Nigga, that's where you went left, bro. You were never supposed to say that.
You said too
like,
much.
You were never supposed to say that. Like, if he's gay, he's gay. If he is not gay, which we know Meek is not gay, nigga, you supposed to say Meek is not gay. Like, don't allude to any of that shit. Like, this is hip hop, more or less. Like, sadly, a lot of people are still really homophobic, and he's from Philly. Who, by the way, would clown the shit out of him if they found out that he was gay, and his presentation that he gave to everyone was that he's this hard ass street rapper. Like, come on.
But wait, I don't think it's about any of that, because to me none of that matters. I just felt like there was no need to even address any of that.
What you mean? He went up there to defend his friends.
I mean, was he asked the question about was Meek gay?
He said it. He voluntarily shared that.
I don't think he should share any of that. For what?
I agree.
I don't think Meek was in the conversation when we were talking about, oh, who came hugging who from the back. It was Lil Baby.
He brought that up. He's the one. Well, Charlamagne alluded
but everyone kept
to,
questioning about the whole Little Baby thing. So if he addressed
and
that,
he brought up Meek Mill his goddamn self.
Charlamagne brought it up?
No, Michael.
Why? That's what I'm asking.
Because he was talking about the idea of everybody thinks that Meek is gay due to the photos that were taken during the all-white party with him hugging him from the back.
Was Meek in that photo?
Meek had a photo years ago, yes.
Oh, he had a photo. Oh, I thought it was only Little Baby.
No.
That went viral, and maybe it's another person.
No, it was Meek, the other person.
I mean, but they're probably going off of the Diddy claims too. You didn't think about that, or did you forget about that part?
I mean,
forgot about that.
Cool, we can add that in there. Fuck it.
So I don't think we should be jumping in and stepping in and saying he's not. He is. I think we just need to leave it alone. Let Meek when he's comfortable to.
When he's ready to come out and tell us that he's gay.
That's what I'm saying, because you almost argued him and said that I don't think he is. How do you know?
I don't think that he is.
I wouldn't put it past. Well, listen, let me mind my business.
You wouldn't put it past him, though. I hear that.
This is also the music industry, y'all.
I understand that, though, but still, it's still on some, you can't say that shit.
But what I'm saying is, to your point is, Michael himself don't need to address it or bring it up.
I agree.
Let Meek, if he ever has a deciding moment that he wants to talk about his sexuality.
He ain't never going to talk about that shit, though.
We just never know. Times may change.
He ain't never gonna talk about that shit. Come on, be fucking.
He may never. Right.
He's never gonna talk about that.
But let him speak on it. Moving on.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Megan Good and Johnathan Majors at the Zeus Awards.
So here's my. No. Here's my.
I know you've seen the clip.
No, I saw the clip. Yeah, he was very emotional. I didn't. You know what? You know what's so funny? As much as I'm in tune with pop culture, I didn't follow that story too much. I mean, I heard little bits and pieces of his history or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe he's just crying to keep a woman, or crying that someone is actually riding by.
Crying to keep a woman is insane.
I don't know. I'm just basing off of what I think is happening. I don't know what the history behind him and what he did and stuff like that. I'm just saying.
Wait. So tell me what you don't know. Tell me what do you know?
What? Well,
because I can fill in the other blanks.
That was easy. So he's been shunned. He's been shunned because he's done something, right?
Yeah, he was caught on video camera roughing up a little white girl. Okay. Which was his girlfriend.
Okay. Got it.
Running away from her because she found out that he was texting another woman and kind of went outright. Okay. And so the camera footage caught them in New York City. Cops got called. He got arrested.
Can I cut you off?
Free, yeah.
Do you think this all blew out of proportion because she was a white girl?
No.
Do you think if it was a black woman, this would have been?
I think it would have been I don't think that it would have been in headlines if it was another black woman.
By the way,
depending on the class of the black woman.
Quick disclaimer: I'm not advocating for any kind of people. Man, a woman crime. Like
he had to let y'all know.
Yeah. I'm just asking questions because I didn't really know. I knew he was under fire for something. I just did not know what it was.
I personally think that regardless of the woman being white or black, that particular circumstance isn't a good one, especially when he is an actor for Marvel.
Gotcha.
And with that, you being a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that is a lot of eyes on you. That is a lot of pressure on you. And to be realistic, you should be fucking spotly clean when it comes to walking in that bitch. Not
Right.
only because it is Marvel, but because you are a black man.
And its reputation.
Yes.
As a black man, you have to.
You are a black man. You cannot get away with the same shit that Robert Downey Jr. got away with.
Right.
They're never gonna let you rock.
Anything you do is under a microscope.
Anything you do. So that situation happened, and it ended up coming out in the court. She sued him, blah, blah, blah. Megan was there throughout his whole side during the whole ordeal, him going to court, him going through the process, him losing his job, him having to go on Kale King and be vulnerable and talk about the situation and kind of relive it again and again and again and again for a good year, maybe? 6 months to a year. Obviously, he lost his Marvel job. Marvel is currently coming out with the Avengers Doomsday instead of the Avengers Kang Dynasty. Kang was his character on Marvel. And so the entire universe was centered around him. So when that whole ordeal happened, they had to completely change their entire fucking script, movie, game, layout, everything. And Marvel movies are planned at least 5 to 10 years in advance. Yes. So when he fucked up way more shit than even he, I think, expected.
Wow.
So
See, I didn't know all those details. That's why I said I was kind of like
welcome. That's why I'm here to put you on.
Appreciate you.
So give me your thoughts. Into now you're seeing his reaction to Megan on the Zeus Awards and talking about him really appreciating her for all of her support and her standing by his side. And
Well, shout out to Megan Good. You're a strong black woman, and to be in a
sidebar. Don't want to interrupt you, but sidebar. He did say to his white girl that she should be more like Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King. Go ahead.
Interesting. Wow.
Just wanted to add that in
It's
there.
a lot to digest. But no, shout out to Megan, because I feel like it takes a lot for a woman to like hold down a strong black man and then to take the heat. And because a lot of people are not gonna, take the stand and be ridiculed, because the blame that comes from that, and like, oh wow, really? You gonna take that? And after what he's been through, like, takes a lot out of you as a woman to do that. So you have to give her applause, because that's a lot to endure. But I feel like maybe he is remorseful. Hopefully it wasn't fake tears. Hopefully it came from a real place. And we're all human beings, so I think we all deserve grace. You know what I'm saying? And a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance. I deserve a second chance. And hopefully, like I said, it came from, my main thing is just be genuine, and hopefully it was from a real place. And only God can forgive you. Hopefully he spoke to God about what happened and told God the truth and why it happened and all those things that happened on his own time. You know what I'm saying? And he's a changed man. That's really what I'm concerned about.
Has he changed?
Judgment and all that stuff, and ridicule and critique. That's men. You know what I'm saying? I don't subscribe to like what men want to put on another man, or like how society and people. Remember, it's Sunday. Only God can judge me. So if he's changed you, it seems like your question, has he changed? I don't know if that was a question to me, or are you asking that outwardly?
No, it wasn't a question at all.
Or you're questioning it.
It was more of a statement. Like, have you changed? Have you repent for everything that you kind of went through? And do you admit your own faults in your part of how this played out?
Right. Well, that's for him to know. We're not gonna know.
I hope I don't never know that shit.
Yeah, we don't know.
But
I hope he has, though.
I pray he has.
Because when you're a public figure, it's like
Johnathan Majors, be prepared for that slave movie.
Yeah,
that's the only way you gain your Marvel job back.
And hopefully the people in those spaces forgive him too. You know what I'm saying?
You see, Will had to go do a slave movie after he slapped him, right?
And it worked out in his
It
favor.
worked
Right?
out in his favor, so good luck.
So yeah.
I did see Joe Budden talking about the fact that there's a growing community of women who like the dope boys, but because they dog them out, essentially, now everybody got to date a pastor. Now everybody you got to date is a pastor. Laying up with the church niggas, but y'all like toxic dick.
Wasn't she with the church nigga before him?
Yeah.
Devin Franklin? Mm-hmm. Oh, Johnathan
Before that.
But Johnathan is going to be a pastor next? Or does he have to turn into a pastor for people to forgive him?
I mean, maybe.
Is that what we're alluding to?
He's alluding to Johnathan Majors being a clean-cut guy.
That's what he comes across to me. So that's why I'm kind of surprised with these feuds. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like I said, I don't know the guy. You know what I'm saying? I only know the name, and I've only seen his image.
Yeah, but how do you feel about what Joe Budden said? Fuck all that shit.
What did Joe Budden say again?
He said there's a growing community of women who like the dope boys, but because they dog them out, essentially, now they gotta date nothing but the past. Now they only want to date the pastors, like laying up with the church niggas, but they like toxic dick.
Well, who's the toxic dick in this situation? Is it Johnathan Majors?
In the Megan situation?
I mean, he doesn't give me like a.
He gives me
a bad.
He doesn't give me bad
black
boy. It doesn't give me bad boy vibes. So clearly, he is the church boy that he is talking about.
Oh, so what? Okay, hold on. I gotta hear that question again. I gotta hear that statement again. So, are you saying that she's only doing this because?
How do you give me your thoughts based off of that statement? What are your thoughts? Like, your pussy wasn't good enough to get the street nigga in shape. So now, in your later years, you're gonna date the virgins, pastors, people with no criminal record, the clean guys.
A lot of times I do agree with Joe. I don't really see the point in this one because I'm like, to me, Megan is probably, I think Megan's around my age, but Megan still looks young and fresh to me, so I don't see why she would not be able to get whatever she wants. I don't see why she would need to settle. So that's the only reason why I'm not getting that statement, because I'm like, she's not giving me like, oh, washed out, oh yeah, rusty, can't get no more.
I'm gonna go settle down with this loser.
Yeah, it doesn't give me that. It doesn't give me that. I feel like the people that she's dating now is because she wants to. If anything, I feel like, what's the word I want to say? She's the one up.
For who? Him?
For whoever. Or maybe, am I tripping? Because I don't
I think she's definitely the one up for Johnathan Majors, for sure.
The last one, too. I mean, he's just a pastor. Like, who knew him? From what?
He was cute, though.
What was his trajectory?
He was cute, though.
Johnathan's not ugly. I don't see them too different. They're not too. They like one and alike to me.
Society and Instagram comments will tell you different.
I don't know. I don't follow that, but I'm just saying that.
Well, shut up. You do be reading the comments. Cut the fucking shit.
Yeah, but not on them.
It don't matter. You read the comments. Stop trying to act like you above fucking reading comments.
You're more in tune because you're looking for that kind of man. Anyway, next.
I'm looking what kind of man?
She wants her a good man who wears a suit.
I do. I absolutely do. The fuck?
She wants the man that making good dates.
Yes.
Say it out loud and proud.
Well, not the men that she dates. No, but I get it.
It's in the same lane.
Understand.
It's in the same lane.
I totally understand. I get it.
I know I've seen what you like. Anyway, so no, I think Megan is the one up. She's the ball is in her court in these situations, so I don't see why she would need to settle. Megan Good is a bad B.
Listen, I'm
at 40, 41, whatever she is now, 39. She's a bad B.
She's always been bad.
She doesn't have to settle for anything, so I don't see what Joe was saying. Like, if she wanted the hood nigga, she could have him too. She can have anything she wants. That's why Johnathan was crying. Oh, this bitch better not leave me.
I'm not mad at him. I would be crying too if I was him.
Yeah.
Moving on though.
What's up?
Nick Cannon and Neo say the good guy never wins.
This is very true. That's me, y'all.
Oh, shut up. That is not the fucking truth.
Contrary to popular belief.
A nice guy did finish last a lot of times.
But both guys. I've been the nice guy, and it didn't work.
And
I've been the bad boy, and it didn't work.
Right.
But of the two, the bad boy always works a little more.
So, What are your thoughts?
I didn't see that, but you got to play the Nick Cannon and Argus Alsina thing after that.
Oh, that could be after that.
That wasn't on your.
No, that was not on the list, but
but it should be.
Oh
but,
gosh. Okay, let's start with this, and then let's go to August because I didn't see the clip, so you're gonna put me on.
Yeah, this one is easy. No, Nice Guys finished last. It's true, but anybody finished last.
Okay, so here's
why just Nice Guy. Ugh. I mean, even though it's a term, but like.
Okay, so here's my thoughts. So at any point, it didn't dawn on you to just be yourself and see how that goes. Like, not being the nice guy, because I'm a firm believer, if you have to say, I was trying to be the nice guy, that doesn't mean that you're the nice guy.
Oh, that's what, I'm sorry, I bypassed the clip. Is that what he said?
I'll play the clip again.
You play it one more time so I can hear it clearly, verbatim.
Oh, okay. And then the nice guy did finish last a lot of times.
But both guys. I've been the nice guy, and it didn't work.
And I stopped
the bad boy, and it didn't work. Right. But of the two, the bad boy always works a little more.
So women are attracted to younger. Are women attracted to toxicity?
Young women. Because you gravitate toward what smells familiar, and if you come from a household where machismo and all that is around you, you unconsciously feel safe in that. Yeah. And that's
but then you learn from peers too, because you watch your boys, you go, man, he's that. So I think I'm gonna do that, because high school happened to me. I was the nice guy, man. I was like, get her flowers. My mother's like, that's good. I did all that, and I got doodled on, and I was like, that will never happen to me again. I think that's happening to all of us. That might be the origin story of our toxic masculinity.
Okay. You can stop it. Yeah, so to your point, like, why did he feel he had to play two roles?
That if you at any point it didn't dawn on you,
made a good
just
point.
Be yourself and see how that goes.
And stick to that.
Like,
don't switch up because you're trying to.
It truly, something about that truly bothers me when a man says, I tried to be. That doesn't mean that's not you, bro. Like, you're not the nice guy.
You're playing two different individuals at some point in your life.
But
you tried to be the good guy and the bad guy. Like, what? No, just be, like you said, just be yourself and live in that.
I did find it interesting that while they were having this conversation between Neo and Godfrey and somebody else, I found it very interesting that it was solely the black men in agreement to this. And the other two non-black men that were sitting there understood exactly where that was fucked up at. Like, you don't, like, what? They were quiet as a church mouse. So it was very interesting. And then, yeah, like, does anybody notice how the men that weren't black were quiet as shit while they were having that conversation?
They don't subscribe to that.
No, because it sounds fucking crazy, bro. You're not a nice guy. And that's okay. But don't try to act like, you know, I tried to be the nice guy. I tried to be the bad guy. And the bad guy always won. No, that means you're the fucking bad guy, bro.
Right.
Fucking weirdo shit.
If you're a nice guy, live in that. Yeah.
Yes. Then you wouldn't have to say that I'm a nice guy.
Your time will come.
Speaking of your time, Sky Jackson arrested for domestic violence. Pregnant and engaged.
I seen that story trending on Twitter. I didn't follow it at all.
So
I didn't even bother to look into it. Although I thought about doing a post about it, but I'm like, oh, she's not even a music artist. So.
I'm crying. So according to TMZ, Sky and her boyfriend were going on a walk. They got into a fight. She pushed him a few times. Security noticed and detained her. When they got detained, both of the boyfriend and Sky denied getting physical with each other, said they were happily engaged and she was pregnant. The cops then took it upon themselves to investigate it further, saw a nearby camera and saw her physically put her hands on him, and so they arrested her. We know he ain't about to show up to court. She's mad small and he's in love with her, so I don't see this going anywhere. But what are your thoughts on what you saw?
I didn't see anything. This is the one story that I have almost like no opinion
on. So what are your thoughts after what I just told you?
It's giving a woman was in a Diddy situation where the woman was the aggressor, and we're not condoning deviant in any manner, even though a lot of people like to bypass the fact that women can be aggressors
That's
also.
exactly what the conversation was. Ended up trending on Twitter about
Yeah,
how
I know
when women
how it went. And how it, because, well, I won't touch it. Never mind. I'm gonna leave you, CB. I love you.
leave him alone.
Yeah, I don't want to bring that up. Bring that back up because then I'm gonna get ripped apart online. But if y'all know, y'all know. Anyway, I don't know. I really, really, honestly, genuinely did not follow the story. But if I have to be like
Based off of what I told you, it's not about
if I got to be
following the
politically
story.
correct, I don't think anyone should be putting hands on anyone, women.
Oh
or
my
men.
God, you're gonna give me PC. Never mind. Let's move the fuck on.
What?
You're fucking annoying. Anyway.
What were your
Spice
thoughts?
finally reveals the real reason why her and Carly Red are not friends anymore.
I didn't even. Okay, so
But imagine the situation because I'm telling you, I'm not gonna talk about this again. So I'm gonna speak in my own
Yeah, I'll
language.
piggyback
So
after.
who get it, and who not get it, get it. Carly was friends with a girl. The girl was fucking Justin. Cause me can't call people name. Cause I have proof and I have receipts. So when a lot of you talk about, oh, I'm gonna sue you for defamation of character, it's not defamation of character if it's true. So I'm calling names because it's true. Because when I love talk about, oh, this a made up storyline, I don't need to make up story for love and hip hop. My story, my life is real. My life is a real life. I'm a real artist. I don't have time to play games. So when I call names, it's because this is facts. This is not no storyline and this is not make up story. Nobody can come sue me for no defamation because what I'm speaking is facts. So let's take it back. Carly was friends with, what the girl name again? I don't even remember the girl name. You ever remember her name?
I love her accent.
Shit, she do makeup.
She don't make up.
I don't even think about them. I don't remember the girl name. Carly was friends with a girl. The girl was fucking Justin. They didn't tell me, but I found out, okay? I'm not going to tell you how I found out, but when I found out, I confronted Justin. I confronted, I want to understand that.
So,
See, I didn't hear that whole piece. By the way, shameless plug, we did have Carly Red on the platform. Shout out to Tracy on Musixclusives earlier this week. So we kind of opened up the floodgates for this whole Carly Red trending all over this entire week.
yeah, because she said she was about to be pregnant on your fucking platform, talking about,
And that was
about to be pregnant.
and that was the
She's
headline.
like 51 fucking years old. What the fuck are we talking
And
about?
that was the headline. And the fiance and the fiance
And she
other
beat
baby
up
mother.
the fiance. She beat up the baby mom.
Listen, PR called me and was like, "Take it down, y'all." You already know the PR media world.
Of course.
We always had a tug of war.
Take that shit down, bro.
Like, you set this up. What do you want us
Take
to do?
it down.
Don't
I know
ask
what I
certain
did.
questions.
I know what I did. Take it down.
So, yeah, we got the exclusive with Carly one-on-one this week, and it's
Talk about some goddamn, I'm about to be pregnant. Yo, can you give me your thought process into like when artists go or when like media people or when influencers get on a platform and say one of the fucking craziest shits? What is your thought process when you see it come across your computer after it's done?
when the artist says something.
Yes.
So, well, let me go into.
Are you jumping for joy? Are you excited? Are you happy? Are you thinking in your head, fuck, but this is gonna make me some fucking money? So what can I say?
So, because I'm trying to process your thought, but then I was thinking about what I was gonna say, which I think kind of like connects with what you're gonna say. So, like, remember I was saying like when the PR calls, you have to take that down. I'm like, all right, cool. You want questions ahead of time, and you don't get them right, and then the question is still asked. Your client has the choice not to answer the question.
Yeah.
So take what
You could
down?
definitely decline answering that.
Like you overshared.
But again,
We're
but
media, we're supposed
but
to do our
media,
job.
y'all know artists overshare all the time, so don't even do that.
Nah.
Don't do that.
You set it up. You asked us. You should have known when you didn't get those questions back that the interviewer, it wasn't me. So don't throw me under the bus.
Nigga said
that
you should have knew when you
Nope.
ain't get them questions.
When you ain't get them questions, you knew something saucy was gonna be in those questions. That's why they ain't send them.
That's fucked up.
And I asked her. I said, Tracy, you didn't send the questions in here. Listen, I can't. It's my platform, but still.
That's your platform.
She
though.
knew what she was gonna do.
You're gonna say
and
that
I'm
you
not
ain't
gonna
got no control. It's still your platform now.
Listen,
Got it. I
Shout out to you
I get
guys.
it. I get it.
it did what it did. Everyone's trying to save face for their client because their client is paying them. So it's like they want the client to do good.
Yes.
So I get that, but you reached out. We have to do our job as media too. What are we gonna get? Okay, that's why there's certain things you just can't say. I can't say this part.
Why?
I just can't.
Why? Bleep it out. I'm gonna bleep it out. Go ahead.
No, we'll talk about it off the record.
I'm fine.
We'll talk about it off the record.
But
love you, Carly.
Outside
love you, Kevin.
of that, she said, don't contact her man under any circumstances. What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you not agree? How do you feel about that?
Don't contact anyone's significant other under any circumstances. But guess what? Don't also promote them.
Wait, what?
Don't promote
Expound on that, please.
If you are a public figure, a celebrity, an influencer, anyone who is in a public eye in any capacity, if you don't want people in your business knowing who you're dating, don't promote them. Why did you mention him? You could have left the question out. You gave us more talking about, you just made me. It's almost like you're purposely trying to get a headline because of there's not anything going on right now for you. So it's kind of like you wanted this viral moment. So when you are trying to jump and talk about take that down, it's like, no, you needed this moment.
You wanted it.
You wanted this moment.
You wanted this moment.
You know what I'm saying? And don't be surprised when all the other outlets clip that part. They're not going to clip the part about your music.
Yep. They care about the salacious shit that be going on.
Yeah, so I'm like, seriously? I'm sorry, I got a little emo there.
It's okay.
But back to the point because I kind of like lost it for a little bit.
Carly, and don't contact her man under any circumstance.
Oh yeah. So yeah, back to that point. So don't promote who you're talking to.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
So I can't love out loud, is what you're saying.
You can, but
no, you cannot. That's what you're saying.
Well, here's the thing: when you're a celebrity, though, your relationship has to be secured. A lot of these reality TV stars, they start dating, and it's still premature, and it's still new. They still have like baggage from previous relationships. That is not the time for you to be promoting who you're with, because there's still room for another woman to creep up in that spot. Y'all not. You said fiance. You're not married. And
even if they were married.
Even if they were married in 2024, people don't even care about marriage. They don't even respect marriages no more. Women will still disrespect and still violate and still try to DM and talk to your guy.
Yes.
More of the reason why, even with social media, don't promote it.
How about
you're Carly Red.
Let's just not be on social media. How about you find a man that is not on social media? How about that?
Exactly. And there's more I want to say, but I don't want to say it on air. You know what I'm saying? And pertaining to that situation that, we could talk about off air. It's just like, when you're of a certain stature, you got multiple businesses. You're easily, people can find you.
Findable.
I don't know if that was a word. We got to make it up today. You're easily findable. You're easy accessible. We know what city you live in. Keep everything private as much as possible. Guess what? There's a lot of celebrities, actors in particular, who are very much well bigger than a Carly Red, who are in relationships, and we never hear about them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's intentional. People call paparazzis. It's intentionally done. PR stunts are intentionally done. They don't just happen. Paparazzi don't just happen to pop up in your business. Shade room doesn't happen to pop up in your business. No, we know what's going on behind the scenes.
Sometimes they do though.
Depending on the celebrity. If you're Beyonce, yes, paparazzi is probably going to be following your every move. But if certain people, it's all. They work that they work those situations out. So
okay,
no one is checking.
I agree. I think Carly's fucking crazy. I think that's stupid to say don't contact my man under any circumstance. I think there are definitely some circumstances into which my significant other and my best friend or friends of mine can get in contact with him, i.e. the whole fucking birthday party situation anyway. Like if I'm in the hospital, a birthday party, a surprise trip, there are too many different reasonable explanations into why your man is being contacted by your friends. And more or less to say, I just caught up with Love and Hip Hop and I was able to watch the full episode and understand what the heck she was talking about. I think she dragged it a lot. Mm-hmm. Mainly because Bambi didn't text him, call him, nothing. She slid in his DM on Instagram and asked him about the plans for Carly's birthday. I feel like that is a reasonable like circumstance for your man to be in contact with your friends. But for the most part, I can understand why she has these feelings because she probably was that girl.
Right.
So if you're that girl, you're super hyper vigilant about anybody doing that because you have done it in your past.
Right.
So
Right.
I think Carly's fucking crazy for saying this, especially to her friend or somebody that she revered as her friend. But Carly been crazy since 2009. What can we say? But I do want to take the opportunity to talk with you. I do want to pick your brain.
Okay.
So to start off, take me through the beginning of your journey.
Ooh, wow. A long journey that's been. Where do we start?
Where do you come from? We can start there.
Born and raised in Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York, Kings County Hospital.
Tell me about your home life, growing up.
To Haitian parents, so I'm of Haitian descent. School. Wow.
Give me all the back history again. The
back
beginning
history?
of your journey.
Okay, let me see. All right, so Haitian young man, grew up in Flatbush, went to which middle school did I go to? I went to PS 139 in Flatbush or Midwood. Same, gentrification changed things around. I went to Ditmas Junior High School. And I think that's when fine art started. That's when all my creative juices started flowing. It started in school, but I was drawing first. So I would start off drawing, painting. Fine arts became a major from junior high school to high school. I went to Edward R. Murrow High School in Brooklyn.
You went to Murrow.
I went to Murrow.
Oh wow!
Mind you, I think I had I don't remember, right? It's been so long since I've been out of high school.
It ain't been that long, nigga.
I know, right? I auditioned for LaGuardia, and I think I got accepted. I don't know why, for some reason. Maybe because I was scared to jump out into the real world and kind of like settle for Murrow, or maybe I don't know. Maybe because LaGuardia was also in the city too, and me not being a school person, I thought that maybe it would have been too much of a journey to have to really go out there and step into that world. But anyway, so my real journey when it came to being a fine arts major started in high school. By the time sophomore year came around, I got hip to stuff like this. So I found there was a TV production studio, and I fell in love with cameras. So now here I am. At that time, I'm like, 15? Discovered the TV studio. Discovered my teacher at the time, Miss Henratty, which is the only teacher's name I can actually remember because I was so engulfed into that whole world. I'm like, cameras, short film videos. This is like, wow, this is my new escape. So I literally, once I discovered that, I was nowhere else. I was cutting classes. But see, the thing is, I wasn't so in my school, we had this thing called Opta. And Optas were like free periods. And in Morrow, I don't know, I feel like with Morrow, unlike a lot of other high schools, a lot of kids had a lot of Optas. And usually people who have more free periods are usually towards the later part of your high school.
They're like seniors.
Yeah, you kind of completed most of your classes, so now you have more free time, right? But I don't know, it seemed like it was across the board. People had Optas, they would hang in the hallways and stuff like that. I was never one of those students that was cutting and hanging in the hallways. If I was cutting, I was actually doing something productive. I wasn't playing hooky. I wasn't cutting class to not go to school. I just wasn't going to my other classes. I was failing everything else, but I was in love with this fucking passion of TV production, and was always hiding in that TV studio. But I was learning a lot, and I became the geek kid. The kid that's what do you call that? The teacher's fan? Yeah, the nerdy kid. The kid who learned everything to the point that he could teach the other students now. Yeah. Let's go to him. He'll teach you how to edit, and at the time it was analog. So this is before digital was a thing. So we was operating the physical cameras. We're editing on the analog control sticks. And then at that time, to edit, we had 2 TV screens. So you had, your monitor. I mean, it's still kind of like that when it comes to like Premiere Pro and stuff like that. But where you have like your source monitor and then you have your edit monitor. And wow, I'm telling my age right now. Yeah, this is like the early 2000s. So I learned so much, Bree, during this era. And I guess this kind of like introduced me into the world of just like, entertainment. Mind you, this had nothing to do with anything in media.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you,
this had nothing to, and this is
how did you get from fine arts to media?
So hear me out. It's been a journey. So my journey has a couple of different layers to it. So obviously school was the foundation. School and home was the foundation. Fine arts major, was drawing. Even to this day, my mother's like, what happened to you drawing? You don't draw no more. Because, parents know you as that.
Yes.
That's how you started. So it's like they're always, curious to know why you stopped doing that. So from there, after school, and I was a late graduate because I got so caught up in this class. I think after that, music was a thing because there was a period in time where I had a fake label. It was called Golden Child Entertainment, y'all.
Golden Child Entertainment.
Write this down. These are notes. This is like history right now I'm giving you.
Yes.
This is Golden Child. I had like artists I used to kind of like fake develop. I had my siblings and my cousins who would come by to the house. Then I went from like TV production to like home studio. So I don't know how I went from TV to like music. And then I'm like creating this fake label. So I guess this was like my early Diddy. They used to call me Little Diddy era, trying to develop
Baby
artists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they used to come by the house. We would record. We'd make like battle tracks. I guess this was me developing into sort of somewhat of like an engineer, even though I never had like no real interest or passion or ever went to school for like audio engineering. But I could have if I wanted to. I could have went to like Full Sail or I forgot the name of that school that was in the city that used to be very popular back in the day. I think they closed it. But anyway, I say this to say I had so much different passions, but one thing that stuck was always music. Whether I was managing music talent, whether I was helping develop them, recording them, somehow, I don't even know when photography came into the picture, but that became a thing, and it was a thing, which obviously still is because I'm still a photographer, a published photographer at that. And then that became a thing. Like I said, I can't really follow the timeline, but photography became a thing. And then at some point, I want to say maybe mid to late 2000s when MySpace was a thing. Remember MySpace?
Yes.
I had this infatuation with, once again, it's a music thing, with artists and new artists. And I always was ahead of the curve and always knew the new artist that was out that wasn't getting the recognition. And I used to always like put them on like my, I used to do like these blog entries. If you remember MySpace, y'all know what I'm talking about. Blog entries, I used to write about new artists. So I guess this was kind of like the prelude to me writing like articles, in a blog, because that's where Musixclusives came from. And then I had a personal page, and then I had a Musixclusives MySpace page, which was like the MySpace music page. So the MySpace music page you can actually upload songs to. So I'd be uploading like new artist songs, and some of those artists at the time were like newly signed artists, talent that were not signed, but they were dope. And I always felt, I always like revered them. And usually they were like R&B acts, hence the reason why I like R&B a lot. And and that kind of catapulted into Musixclusives. So now I'm in my mid-20s, 25, 26, trying to figure out what do I want to do with my damn self. And bing, and then the light bulb went off, and I said, you know what? I got this thing called Musixclusives. Maybe I should turn this into a blog. And this is at the prime or the peak when blogs were a thing. Now
Blog
you're
era.
young. I don't know if you remember Concrete Loop.
Please do not.
I don't know if you remember Nicole Bitchie.
Yes.
This was the
Nicole
era.
Bitchie, Paris Hilton, like
Perez, right?
Perez.
And this is way before
Hilton.
Nicole even rebranded herself to EXO Nicole. I'm like, I didn't like the rebrand. I like the Nicole Bitchie that was spicy.
Nicole
and talking
Bitchie
shit.
was it. That was a girl.
So 2009, and then I got in October 2009.
And that's still fucking peak 2 Dope Boys and era.
Two Dope Boys. I remember that.
Yeah,
I
Two
remember
Dope
that.
Boys.
They're a blog too, right?
Yeah.
They're a blog. Yeah. So by October 2009.
Wow, I'm putting you on game. Crazy.
Right. I mean, I know of them, but
You just tried to jab me like, yeah, you a young buck, but you don't know. No, nigga, I know about 2009. Perez Hilton was my shit.
Perez Hilton was the
He
thing.
he was that nigga.
And B. Scott.
Yes, B. Scott too.
B. Scott is still around too. Yeah. So by October of 2009, I had registered the domain for Musixclusives, and by April of 2010, we were officially a thing. And between that period of time, I had already knew my then business partner, who was my first business partner in Musixclusives. So she was like my business partner in the sense of she was handling a lot of the business and like the back end stuff. So she got the company registered and all that stuff through the state and all that, the rigmarole.
Yep.
And then by April of 2010, on my little sister's birthday, I launched musicexclusives.com. And 14 years later, here we are. So that's the journey. I mean, there's probably bits. Actually, before that journey, right before my media journey, I was songwriting. So when people ask me, "Oh, are you a musician?" or whatever, I'm like, well, not necessarily. Although I have dabbled in artistry. I mean, at one point I thought I was a rapper. A lot of times I still think I'm a singer. I used to form these R&B groups all the time because I'm obsessed with groups. But I was writing I was serious about writing at one point. But then it got so political. I mean, it was always political.
I was just gonna say.
I was just like, it's gonna be harder to catch a lick with writing because it's a name game and a relationship game where it's just like, And then there was this thing called the Who's Writing's list back in the day, where it's like you get this list from like the industry insider, like which artists are about to come out with albums, who we should be submitting for which projects. That was just too hard for me. There was just too much.
Too much to remember. Too much to think about.
Too much to think about, and you have to have relationships, and you gotta, the songs gotta be really immaculate. You have to have good reference singers to land, because if it doesn't sound like the artist you're pitching for, and even then, it's just like if you don't have an ending relationship, you're not gonna land a placement like that.
I got it. So
now, if I would have not to cut you off, if I would have stuck it out from then to now, I mean, 14 years, later, I'm sure, of course, I would have definitely landed because there's passion I was about it. But so after that, that's when I think Musixclusives became a thing.
Got it. Okay, so what made you fall in love with R&B? What did you hear? Like, what you didn't talk too much about, like your family.
So
let
me.
Did you listen to music growing up? Did you hear music growing up?
I skipped that.
You skipped that.
All that. Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily music being played in my home necessarily, because I don't have recollections of that per se. Because my family is Haitian, so I didn't have the luxury of. I didn't have the luxury of my parents necessarily playing like, my artists that I grew up to in the household, because they were not listening to American music like that. I don't remember them playing anything in particular in the household. What I do know is that my parents were Haitian and my father was, which is where I guess my blood and genes come from when it comes to my love for music, that he was a big compa fan. And he was also a musician back in Haiti. Yeah. But my mother, I remember this one French artist, but that was probably like later on in the years that she used to like a lot. We used to play his music for her because she liked him. But as far as what I'm into, R&B. So back to that, to your point, my first cassette tape ever, and this is probably was my introductions to R&B, was Mary J. Blige's "What's the 411", 92. Now, did I get the cassette tape in 92? I don't remember. I don't remember too much of my childhood. I just remember that being my first introduction to like falling in love with music. That's why she's my favorite artist. And then obviously the synergy between her and Puff was a thing for me, like how Puff took this girl from this girl from Yonkers and meshed the two, and he was one of the first to ever do that, and it became a thing with Mary and Jodeci. Like they had their sound, and then he put the hip hop beats behind them, and the hip hop image, the backboard tabs, the Timbs, the baggy jeans. That was all Puff's vision. Like he was a visionary for that. And I don't know what it was about that made me fall in love with it, but I just thought that musically, what he did was so game changing.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with Bad Boy and everything he did after that. So R&B now, I think, is my first love because I'm passionate, I'm emotional, and everything that symbolizes R&B connects with me in my inner soul. So that's why. If I had to answer it in like in a very like quick context, yeah. That's how
love that. Okay. So I'm gonna say a sentence and I want you to complete it.
What's up?
My personality trait is.
I saw that question and I was like, damn, how do I break that down? Personality trait. I'm
One
shy.
word. Shy. You're going with shy?
Well, when you ask that question, I got to think of like, because normally people will say first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that.
Personality trait. Shy.
And I'm thinking my personality, so that's the first thing that's gonna come to mind. Most people probably won't associate me with being shy because of my sign and because of my sometimes my bold exterior. But if you know, you know.
I understand.
Yeah.
What is your most controversial take?
I saw this question too. I was like, how am I gonna answer this question?
Yes. Figure it out.
Oh Lord, some people like to call me messy at times.
Oh, that's your controversial take.
That's what they say. I don't know. I'm not.
What's your most controversial take? That people call you messy?
Or they'll say I'll spill the beans or talk, tell their business. I don't know. I don't want to be known for that though. That's crazy though, because I'm still a nice, caring, and
you could still be nice and still be shady.
I'm not shady though, and I want
didn't
people
say
to
that
stop.
you were shady.
Well, it's been said. Bree, I don't want you running with that fucking narrative.
Nah, I'm crying.
But even I wear shades a lot, right? It's sometimes a lot indoors. So I'll take shady.
Shady. So you would so you're
I'll take
controversial.
that kind of shady. But don't say I'm shady because you walked into a room, I didn't acknowledge you like intentionally. I'm not intentionally shady. No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I can't say no names, or this is a game that I like to play. Can't say no names. Okay. So tell us a story. The story can be funny, fucked up, or both, but you can't say nobody's name.
Hold on, I got a quick question. Is this thing still running?
Yes. Oh,
it is? Okay. I thought I wanted to ask sooner. I thought at some point it probably stopped. It was just the audio only. I was I'm like, does she have the stuff?
It's still going.
All right, cool. Something. Give me those words again. Fucked up. Funny.
It can be funny, fucked up, or both, but you can't say people's names.
What if it doesn't involve people though?
So tell us a story. Just can't say nobody's name.
Everything that comes to my mind is always something that I gotta always say something that comes to my mind first. Me falling off my scooter several times. And it's downstairs, by the way. Not this one. Well, this one I fell off. So here's the story, the backstory real quick. This is a new scooter I just bought. After my old one, after moving to my new apartment, got stolen, like literally probably within the first month, if I remember clearly.
Oh my God.
You would think I live in LIC now. It's like peachy and creamy. Like, no, it's still a nice neighborhood, but it's still New York City. You don't leave nothing outside.
Yeah, that's true.
Locked up or not, they will get it. Especially if it's there for a certain period of time. Someone is watching it like, oh, they're going to leave it for a couple of days. So I was a little bit livid about that. But prior to that scooter that had gotten stolen, I have fell off at least 2-3 times off of. I want to say this falls under the funny category, yes. But I don't think it was funny because I do. I always jam my fucking knees
which is what I was just about to say. You got to be bruising up yourself.
Yeah, like Leo, you still not wearing a helmet? Where's your knee pads? They're at home.
I did want to ask
why are they home?
You rolled up on that scooter, but again, everybody grown. They would do what they want.
She's like, I went to ask, but
I'm not even
about my business.
None of my business.
Yeah, okay. No, I should be wearing my knee pads.
Yeah, you should, because your knee is already bruised up.
It's bruised up, both of them. So, yeah, that's my funny story.
Okay. Okay, so give me your top five R&B singers.
Ooh, I love this part. This I was waiting for this one. Top 5 R&B singers. Go. Because now I have to dabble in groups as well.
And what's crazy, he looked at the topics beforehand. He knew everything that was going to be asked.
No, this one this one is is easier for me to. Well, I want to say so.
You want to say no? Now you have to think about it.
This is very strategic. Wow.
I love these. Shout outs to Tank and the R&B Money podcast.
By the way, she stole
this.
Well, we're not gonna say she didn't steal.
I am
she was
super inspired because I definitely want to know this from everybody that I talk
As you should, especially from me, because people really review me as a big critic. So it was like
you are,
and they were like, "We
Capella
respect
Gray even said it.
Did he?
No, I'm chatting.
Probably when we shoot next month, he'll realize. Okay, cool. Who's this guy?
Can I come?
You can come.
Because
He needs to know how musically inclined I am. You know, well,
he
not
does.
not to get off topic,
R&B-wise.
but he on Talk of the Town he was so I learned some more things about him actually. That is crazy how we connected and we don't even know it. So he used to go to the studio in Mount Vernon called Bedrock back in the days, and how I know because he said it in his interview with Chloe, and he was like, "Yo, shout out to Reggie and Bedrock." I was like, this nigga just shout out the studio that I used to go. See, this is back to my whole. See, my journey is crazy.
Your journey.
My journey is crazy. So, and I don't remember that timeline either. What years those were? I do remember who was involved though. So this is. I gotta see now. I gotta do a couple of shout outs. Shout out to Ryan Lane, and I just saw his post on Instagram stories. I'm very, very sorry for the last couple of losses that you had. He said he lost six people in the last 3 months.
Oh my God.
He's going through it. Shout out to Ryan Lane. Shout out to Project 718. So Project 718 is a group that used to be signed to Capitol back in the day. And this, you know what? Actually, the timeline would be this. So the timeline would be early 2010s because I was just like I am with Capella. I was that for that group. So I don't know. Maybe eras I have always like a cheerleader for certain artists, and I go hard for them. So to the point. So Capella said that he used to go to Bedrock in Mount Vernon. So it makes sense now that the fact that he kind of grew up in well, he's from the Bronx, but I see now where his Mount Vernon roots come from.
We ain't gonna go too deep into that because he's, from what I heard,
from what?
That's not.
Well, he's Jamaican.
That's not the Bronx. That's Mount Vernon.
No. Well, here's the thing, and I'm not an uptown person, but I could say
my mama from the Bronx, so I could talk about it.
Yeah. Well, no, I only say that because I didn't grow up there, but because we're New Yorkers, we know what we're talking about. So if you have to get to Mount Vernon, obviously everyone knows you have to go through the Bronx. And I would take the 5 train to Dyer Avenue, the last train. See, I know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And then most times I would walk over to get to Mount Vernon, which is a walk, y'all.
It is a walk.
You could take the bus, but I was never a bus person in New York. Yeah, it's a walk. And at the time, I don't even know if Ubers was a thing then. No. Either way, if it was a summertime,
it was not. You were doing a cab.
Yeah.
You was calling a cab.
On the cab. Yeah.
Calling a cab.
But I was always a walker. So walking was never, especially if it's the summertime, it was never a thing for me. So that's where I used to go. Shout out to Ryan Lane before he was in a group. It was, actually, that's right. See, so much back history. Ryan was a singer that I met through someone else. I won't get into that. And then we used to do the whole group thing back then. And then he found his lane and his niche as a writer, and then became a phenomenal writer. So shout out to Ryan Lane again. Come on. And then developed, and he kept on. If you keep on with something, things are gonna land. So he ended up in 718. They got their deal. That didn't work out. They went their separate ways. But they had dope music. They have a whole bunch of unreleased music on YouTube if y'all go check for it. But and just to find out that Capella had that same training background, going to that same studio, was kind of like mind-boggling. So I'm like, yo, I gotta call Reggie, and I hit because Reggie always checks in with me every once in a blue moon on Facebook. So, but I couldn't remember his Facebook name because he doesn't go by Reggie on Facebook. And then I found him and I said to him, he's like, yeah, Capella was in my studio when he was 18. Aww. And when I do the math, I'm like, well, Capella's 29 now. That's like whole 10 plus years ago. Aww. It might have been an overlap somewhere there. Because, there might have been an overlap where Capella might have been going to the same studio.
So, are you putting Capella on your top 5 R&B
songs? I knew you was going to split with that.
Because, no, we talking about Capella. Love you, Capella, but...
Well, yeah, love Capella, right? But we were talking about like legends. So Capella still has
I didn't say legends. I just said your top 5 R&B artists.
All right. Well, Capella's not on that list. Not yet, Capella. He still has to get his feet wet. Top 5. Wow. Oh, damn. Shit. Fuck.
Yeah.
All right. So Jasmine Sullivan.
Okay.
Wow, this is so hard.
I love me some Jasmine.
I feel like the females are going to take the precedent on this one. Damn, this is crazy.
Really? Over the men?
That's crazy, right? Because, I mean, if I had to counter the guys that we just discussed the other day, but that's more new. I'm thinking when you say top 5, it could be all time.
It doesn't have to be all time.
I don't want to fumble it.
It's okay. It doesn't have to be all time. Just your top 5.
Okay. Jasmine for sure. I want to say Faith, but I'm like, I know I'm a Mary fan, but I'm also a Faith fan. But I'm like, it's like one of those things like, can you be a Nicki and Kim fan at the same time? You can be, but then you got to pick a...
Yes, pick a corner.
Pick one side.
Pick a side.
Well, obviously, Faith is a better vocalist. I like Mary stylistic wise.
Okay, so
Okay,
we
well,
have Jasmine,
Jasmine, Faith.
Faith. Are you including
gotta-
Mary on this?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Not
So who we got? You got 3
I
slots
gotta put a
left.
guy in there. I'm trying to think of who did it for me. And I'm not even just going by default either. I gotta go with people who actually.
Yeah,
grew up
like
on.
who actually did.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Who actually? Yeah.
Fuck the mainstream shit. Like,
Exactly.
tell me who actually like.
Who actually I was tuned in.
Yes.
Damn, the guys are harder. Why is it so hard for me with the guys?
Wow. I'm actually very shocked.
There's so many guys I can't. It's not coming to me. I just did a whole male discussion.
We just had a whole male discussion of R&B.
I mean, but that's also because I'm purposely excluding them and thinking about like the 90s and the early 2000s. Mario.
Okay.
Yeah. I got
So Mario's up there.
Mario's up there.
Okay. You got 2 more slots.
Damn. I want to say Beyonce, but that's so cliche.
Everybody says Beyonce. That's fine. That's an.
I usually go left when
acceptable
everyone goes
answer.
right. Yeah.
It's an acceptable answer. Okay. You got one more.
One more. Wow. This is so hard. The one more is hard. Damn, Brie. Because I have 3 girls, I want to add a male, but I'm like, I'm gonna say. I'll just put Chris in there, just by default. I'll just put Chris in there. I can't really think right now, guys. I thought that was gonna have this was gonna be like easy peasy for me, but
Okay.
yeah.
Give me your top 5 R&B songs.
Wow. Probably even hard. It could be easy, but even harder. Wow. Now this is where Mary enters the chat.
Okay.
If I have to go by default, maybe Real Love.
Real love.
I'm searching for a real love.
I'm searching for a real love.
Someone is in my heart.
Someone that's in my heart.
Wow, why Bree got me in this space right now?
Yeah,
This is
because that's what we're
crazy.
here for. Yes, I ask my friends the most difficult questions that they know they can answer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're
How
stumping.
could I do this?
What?
Brandy has to go back in that list. Take Chris off of Brandy. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay, so do you
Look
want to
at me.
include a Chris song instead?
I could probably do that.
You could do that.
I gotta think though.
Real love.
I could do that, but I would have to. Oh shit. I hope they don't crucify me if I go on Chris's first album. Chris's first album was dope though, but no, Real Love. Number 2. Oh, this will actually require some brain power.
I make you think. Oh yeah, baby. I make you think.
Ooh, Can't You See Total?
Oh,
Can't You See
okay.
Total.
Nobody said total yet.
Really? Oh, you got people on there? But because you know what? And I don't know if they wanted me to be technical. I'm just going by like R&B songs that like were game-changing songs of like all time. And I feel like those 2 songs so far are like culturally changing records. So I don't know if people are expecting me to give songs that have like vocal prowess to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking of like what makes me feel good.
Yes, however you see fit.
All right, cool. Number 3. Well, I want to put Usher's "Think of You," but then I'm like, I could swap that out for something else. 112's "It's Over Now." That definitely was one of my. Yeah, that's definitely one of my records for sure. Ooh, I gotta put an SWV in there. Ooh. I feel like I gotta put an Aaliyah record in there too.
Yeah, go ahead. Use that wonderful noggin.
I got a good Hot Like Fire by Aaliyah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, you ain't gonna hear people say that too much.
No.
But that's because I'm so left with it.
You wasn't that left when you put Beyonce on R&B singers. Cut it out.
No, that's typical. That's what most people would say. I just threw her in there because I couldn't think of somebody else. But I think I just swapped her out for Brandy anyway. Let me see. I think I got one more.
Yes, you do.
Anything by SWV.
Anything by SWV.
I think I want to go.
Okay, I like that.
Either anything or I'm So Into You.
I thought you were gonna say I'm So Into You.
I like I'm So Into You, but if I'm gonna go with anything, probably the remix with Wu-Tang.
Okay.
With Meth. Speaking of Meth, shout out to Meth. Gotta give Meth his credit.
I love Meth.
Yeah. So I think that completes the R&B songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And so this is the last question. Mm-hmm. Build your ultimate R&B artist. So where you getting the vocals from? Where you getting the performance from? The personal style, the heart/passion, and pen game.
This is easy for me.
Okay.
All right. So the vocals, if we're gonna build a female artist, we're gonna get it from Jasmine.
Okay. Performance,
we're gonna give come on, the one and only Beyonce.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Style, because I want to save her for passion, I'm gonna say, oh fuck, she kind of falls in both. Wow, now you got me stuck. Ooh, I gotta give her credit. I don't know if people have been giving her credit, but she's been doing her big one on social media. Maybe Monica.
For style, yes. She did.
She's been killing it.
Yo, when she
that's what
stepped
kept her
out,
more relevant than a Brandy. Even though Brandy's probably the bigger artist, I feel like Monica. See, when we talk about relevancy, I think Monica's been able to, not because she's putting out music, but because she's able to evolve with the time.
Yes.
And keep the young generation engaged because they're big on style. I think Monica's. I don't think she's getting credit for that though, but I noticed. So I
went to the Nicki show. And Monica opened, or she was one of the openers.
She's the opener. Well, she was the only one, I think.
Well, I don't think she was an opener because she came out in the middle of the fucking set. So I don't consider those openers. Right. Plus, Monica's too big. Monica and fucking Nicki Minaj. I don't think you should be open. Like, come on. I think that looks.
She's been around longer, right? Even though Nicki's the queen.
Yes, still.
She should come in mid-set, right?
I did see her during the show. What I will say is her style.
Beautiful.
On point.
So shout out to Monica with style.
So style for Monica. Heart,
passion, Mary J. Blige, without a doubt.
Okay.
You can't, like, that's what kept her relevant.
And pen game.
Pen game, I would go back to Jazz, but let me pick someone for pen. It's either a toss-up between Mariah or someone like, I mean, we could just go straight writer. Maybe someone like a Diane Warren.
Ooh.
You know? Just give it up. Give it up, you know?
Damn.
Diane had every fucking ballad on every 90s album. It was always the last song. I'm a 90s kid. Always the last
song to catch you. Yep.
Catch you at the end. Make you cry. Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, that was all the topics for today. We're going to get to picks of the week. So this week I am going to play Come by Ray Khalil.
Okay. This is like a freshly squeezed moment.
Yes.
Shout out to So the Thing Is.
Shout out to So the Thing. Here's the thing. See the Thing Is.
See the Thing is. I said So the Thing Is. I knew I would say something wrong.
Yeah, they're not together anymore either.
Oh, Brandy. I said Brandy. Bridget. Andy. Who does it?
So, that is the end of today's episode. Thank you so much, Leo, for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. I hope you had an amazing time.
I did.
Please come back anytime.
Of course. Anytime
My
you wanted
couch
to. You're
is
my
your
girl.
couch.
Yeah. This is my new home.
Yes.
When I'm in Brooklyn. Because, I'm hardly
Yeah,
ever in
you
Brooklyn
don't.
anymore.
Yeah.
They don't even know I'm in
You don't
Brooklyn
even
anymore.
come here no more, but, it is what it is.
But you're out here, and I took that trip.
Yes, you took the trip for me.
Yep.
Yay.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone, for listening this week. Feel free to catch up on the latest episodes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and let us know what you think. And see y'all next week.
Make sure y'all follow me.
Oh, yes.
On Instagram, Images by Leo. And follow Musixclusives on all social media platforms and our website.
Yeah, people.
At Musixclusives with XClusives.
Yeah, let the people know where they can find you at.
Yeah, Images by Leo and Musixclusives and musicexclusives.com.
Okay.
All the latest.
Be out, y'all. Peace.
Peace.